Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to Dr. Mardhani Riasetiawan and to all participants to International Week 2022. Thank you, Dr. Mardhani, for joining us, and also thanks for the time to share about the very interesting topic related to business digitalization in the post-COVID era. So now maybe a bit of brief explanation about International IWEEK. We have a total of more than 60 participants from more than 10 countries who I believe are all eager to hear presentation and also participate in a very interesting discussion later on. So before we start this session, I would like to briefly introduce Dr. Mardhani. So Dr. Mardhani is currently the head of Computer System and Network at the DCSC FMNS Universitas Gadjah Mada, and he is also a lead researcher at Gamma Box ID, which is a cloud and grid working group. And he is the initiator and lead in the response COVID-19.gammabox.id. And he is also an initiator life doctor and telemedicine for COVID-19 in Indonesia. So having read his CV, I believe that he's a real expert, in terms of business digitalization, especially related to COVID-19. So without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Mardhani to present his session today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for the session. Hello everyone. Hopefully you can hear my voice clearly. Yes. Okay, thank you very much for the introduction to Fitri, and I'm very happy and I'm very honored to be get the session in here. So before I start, I will try to share my screen about my material that I want to present today for all of you. Okay, hopefully you can find my presentation. Okay. So the first I would like to start this session is I'm very happy to have all of you to join the session. It's very honored to me to present the business digitalization in post-COVID era. So I think it will be good discussion for us today in this session between you and me, and also all the audience that came from maybe from many part of the world. So what we want to discuss is we want to to sharpening our idea, and also how the COVID-19 I call like a Pandora box in the technology. It is open a lot of opportunity and also challenge to us to have the business digitalization and also business transformation in every aspect of the industries. So before I start my presentation, yes, I am from the Computer Science and Electronic Department from the Faculty of Mathematics and Natural Sciences from the University of Gadjah Mada. Even though that I'm also have the bachelor from the accounting, so it's very happy for myself to come back to my faculty and bring this idea to all of you. Currently, I'm the head of Computer System and Network from my departments, and also I'm the lead researcher in the Gamma Box ID initiative. So what we do is during the COVID-19 pandemic, we establishing one of the initiation on the data movement and data analytics using the big data technology, establishing some of the dashboard and also mitigation analysis to prevent and also to help our government to build the strategy how to deal with the COVID-19. And also until now, we still establishing that current initiative to develop some of the knowledge management and also data-driven policy on the COVID-19 post-COVID era. And what we has done actually is we collaborate with one of the social movement in Yogyakarta, Sambatan Jogja. I'm lead and also develop the life doctors telemedicine for COVID-19 in Indonesia, especially for shelter and also from the rural area in Indonesia. So I think based on that experience, we have a lot of opportunity and also a lot of story that I can tell you today, how we use the power and the potential of the technology establishing new landscape of also the business and also social impact. I think that's also one of our concerns. Yeah. So what I want to what I want to introduce to you is I want to invite you to sightseeing the post-COVID-19 digital landscape first. Yeah. So I think all of you in every region, in every countries, you already have your unique landscape on the digital level. Yeah. So I think we have a lot. We can accept all of this as a lesson learned for us. And then what I want to bring to you is to introduce you about the I call the three musketeer of technology now. Yeah, especially we call the data, the cloud, and also the analytics. This is where the become the three weapons in the post-COVID era, especially on the digitalization strategies, not only for the company but also for individuals, from the community and organization. And the next is about the transformation strategies. I think when we know about the transformation strategies, we only think about the automation, yeah, on the business processes and etc. But actually, behind that kind of the automation, we have a lot of opportunity. We have asset. Yeah, I think you can see how the blockchains change the landscape of the business. For example, we can see the big data can have the impact on the business strategy and so on. And of course, the lesson learned I'll present to you to discuss with you more deep and also more sharp about several issues. Yeah. So I bring this picture in front of you. I think it is represent what we want to discuss actually. So I think we have this face now. I think even in the stadiums, I think the football match is already presented by the supporter and so on. But I think this kind of the this kind of the access and also the facility still happening now. Yeah, yeah. So I think this session is also have this mood too. Yeah. So let's discuss first. Yeah, I think when we discuss about post-COVID-19 digital landscape, we already know that COVID-19 is not like dinosaurs. I think not like a dino. Yeah, a dino is like a big thing, and then it disrupt with the power and have the physical disruption and so on. But COVID-19 is like the virus is invisible. We never know the exact form of the virus, but we know it has a very big impact to us. Yeah. So I think we agree that COVID-19 has profoundly altered the way we live, the way we work, the way we study, we interact with the people, and the way we consume, I think. So I think that will be very we have very difficult past. We cannot find any milestone in the past that have the impact like COVID-19. I think we will wait the next COVID things here. It can be happen in the future, and we become the change all the things. Yeah, I think we in the university itself. I think if you take a look, I think the lecturer, the researchers now think to redesign the materials to adapt with the COVID-19 situation. So when I talk about technology, for example, in my major, for example, I think we cannot just give you some lesson about what is the big data, what is the AI, what is the cloud, but we can put in the context of the pandemics, and then we will have a new landscape of the big data. We have a new idea for AI in the COVID-19. We have a new ERP, enterprise resource planning, on the COVID-19 context and so on. So I think that would be good things. Yeah. What I want to give you some illustration is currently I have a research doing some supply chain management platform development, but it will be in the context on the post-COVID-19 pandemics. So it will be changed the SGM in general, because we need to deal with the situation on the post-COVID-19. It's very different. And the people, for example, in the delivery channel, especially, for example, it will be different. Maybe before COVID, we will very happy to open our doors, and then we accept the package, and then we sign something, and then we have the item, the good that you buy online. But now I think you just only say to the to the sender that, oh, please sir, just put it in the grace, just put it in the garage, for example. And then how we can identify that your item that came to your house is your item that you buy in the times. Yeah. So I think the technology will help you to do that one. So that's a simple things how the supply chains, even the supply chain itself will be changed because of the pandemics. So I think this change have led to an explosion of the new technology, yeah, and then the innovation, and also forcing business to rapidly adapt and disappear. So you can count in how many business models that now disappeared now, I think, yeah, and then how many business that came in again, and then back in, and also came as new business model because of this change. Yeah, so that also the good things. But even many opportunity that came from the post-COVID-19 pandemics, I think we also have some problems. So I put in this picture to show you that COVID is not only just giving us the opportunity, the good opportunity, but we also have the loss of because of the COVID. Yeah. So I think we can see the over 16 million students in Indonesia are temporarily out of school due to the COVID-19. So the challenge for us is how we deliver the school, not in the school as physical, but we deliver the school in the home. So that's the curriculum based on home, and based on the parent and so on. It will be very important. So that will be change the landscape. So I think it's same with you. If you concern about and interest on the economics, area. So I think it's also same issue in that times. How many small medium enterprises that impacted from the COVID-19? Yeah, because they only use the direct selling method, for example. And how many small medium enterprises that came up with the new business model using the open kitchens model, using the shared service model, and also the online mode for the delivery and so on. So that's also the interesting one. So I think behind that one, the another aspect of the business processes, financials, things, it also will be adapt and then change rapidly. So in here, we realized that I think not only just COVID yet, but many events that especially have the big impact. It will be have opportunity to give us the challenge and also the risk. Yeah. So that's why the post-COVID-19 digital landscape is very important. So let's see what happened in the world about this landscape. Yeah. So I think that is the clue, the first clue. Yeah. So I think that we now realize that business and IT are tightly integrated and to a decent point. Yeah. So each and every company is a technology company. So every company now shift out there from the current and traditional method, just delivering the commodity, thinking about the product. But now they think not only just product, but also the data behind the product, how we gather the data from the product and so on. So that's why it's very important to us to see this one. So in here you can see that you as student and also from the economics development, for example, you realize that we not only just about a thing about the commodity is just a product, but data information will become the new commodity that will be very changing the world. Yeah. And now in running day-to-day operation, most organizations rely on digital technology. Yeah, I think that the consequences that we go to the business digitalization, we go to the business transformation and so on. And therefore, to stay competitive on the marketplace, companies should integrate the emerging technology with their business strategy. In the several points, sometimes technology is the advantageous for the company, but the most important thing is the business model itself. Yeah. So even I'm in the person that working on the technology day by day, but my personal experience, before we decide which technology that we want to deliver to the company, we need to think about the business model that we want to deliver to the community first or to the customer. Because if we have the business match with the business model is matched with the potential customer, so the technology will be in there. So that's the clue. Yeah. So from my experience, for example, from the 10 company or enterprise that consult to me about how the business transformation have the fairness from their perspective, most of them maybe from 10 about 7 companies because they set in the technology first. and then the business model will be rely on the business models. The technology, and that will be fairness. So I think the nice one is we design first the business model, and then we develop the technology that can support the business model that we want to establish to the customer. Yeah, and that's more important. So, and the outline which technology can be a source of business innovation. Yeah, so you can see the innovation on the business model, on the business innovation, very important, and then we drive to the to the technology innovation. And as a result of the economical crisis caused by the pandemic, the investment will be focused on the reliable and well-known technologies. I think all of you now hear that the news that the public session of the startup is end now. Most of the venture capital and the investment company looking for the startup that profitable. Not only just think about the valuation, the number of the customer, and so on. But the most important is how the business model ensure the capability from the startup to produce the profitable business. So that's why the importance of the reliable and well-known technology will be the engine of that idea. So that's why I think the end of the the honeymoon of the startup is over because of that. Yeah. And the consequence of the lockdown, for example, and the number of employees would like to continue working remotely, it will be include the growth of the the model of the remote work. Yeah. So I think we know now the work from home and so on, but now we also know about the concept of work from anywhere. Yeah. So everywhere and so on. So I think that also one of the important things that we need to catch about the business digitalization that happened today. So in here you can see that a lot of company, a lot of small medium enterprise, and also from the perspective of the the economics, the data and information will be set the rules in here. So I think I still believe that the company that they own their own data, they can manage the information for their to support their business model. It will be the advantageous for the company to to win the competition. So that's the cool one. Yeah. And the nice one is now we have a shifting now. Yeah. And what I mean the shifting is now we face the situation that are very different from the previous one. Yeah. So I think we know that the technology and business digitalization have the focus now. The several focus that you need to understand is not about the technology. I think you already know. You're familiar with the word of the artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, cybersecurity, extended reality or mixed reality, and also the 5G network that came to our to our community now. But all this technology actually try to bring the business digitalization into more people-centric. So it's mean we focus on the customer. Yeah, the people-centric see that we try to make more hyper automation for the customer. So you can see how you very enjoy when you surfing on the e-commerce platform, for example. You just choose one of the item, and then the platform will give you some information benchmark with the similar product and the lower price and the discount and etc. So your geographic, your geographic difference and so on. So that's the meaning of the hyper automation. The people become the centric, but to become the people centric, company, the platform need to know about the data and profile of the potential customer. So that's why they're really willing to invest to gather and then to collect your data on your social media, on your email platform, on your communication platform to know what you think, what you want, what you will, and so on. So that's the people-centric, very, very important. And the next one is we realize that now that many platforms that deliver the business models, especially on the electronic business models, try to bringing the multi-experience to the customer. So you not only just enjoy in one of the business model, but a lot of business models. You can surf from the web, you can access through your smartphone, you can go to the metaverse, and then you can go to some of the virtual expo, and then you have all the experience. Yeah. So that would be very important. So that's why the people-centric giving the democratization to the customer, to the potential customer, to define what you want by yourself. The platform, the enterprise only giving some option. So that the how the work of the digitalization. And of course, the human augmentation, transparency, and traceability will be one of the mandatory factor on this people-centric. Yeah. Even I know that from the people-centric on another perspective, we have another question. How about the security and so on? But that's consequences. I think we can discuss later on. And the second one is using the artificial intelligence and other technology. We try to create the smart space trend. Yeah. So it's mean we use the people doesn't need to invest in the technology to access the people-centric experience. You just only using your smartphone. You only access your MacBook and so on, and then you get the you get the experience. Yeah. So the investment on the technology will be the responsible of the enterprise of the platform to deliver to you. So that's why when you very enjoy access the internet banking facilities, you enjoy the e-commerce platform. Actually, the e-commerce enterprise is very have a huge cost and investment to deliver the very high quality services to you. So that's why it's very important. Yeah. So what happened if the customer just protests, for example, the access is very low and so on, so that you will be shifting to another platform. So that's very dangerous. Yeah. So that's why what I want to say in here is actually when we have a lot of technology that now surrounding us on the business, even that AI, big data, cloud, and so on. But actually, they try to focus on these two kind of things. Yeah, the drive is into this point. The first is the people-centric, and the second is the smart space trends. So I think we need to understand this one and get the perspective how actually the technology will be driven into the innovations. Yeah, and the next is we can learn from, for example, I think all of you know this one. Yeah, so I think this is now the number one application in the world. Yeah, so I think you know the TikTok from China. But what I want to discuss is not about the TikTok itself, but the most important thing is we can see that now from the pandemic and the post-COVID pandemics era now, we can see that there is a nation that have the categories as isolated technology nation. This is the China and India that really are major ecosystem by themselves. They have the technology, they have the funding, and they have the big market. So that's very important to know that COVID-19 now giving us, clear border. Which one is the isolated technology nation? Which one there is not isolated technology nation or another type of the technology nation? But we can see in here. So if you came from another countries of the China and India, you can identify yourself which part of my country now, because you can see. For example, when we see like autonomous car, for example, the mirror in the first place is from the US, but unfortunately now the manufacturers, the autonomous car enterprise now, the producer is from the China. I think that's cool things because they're very fast on the technology development, adaptation, and then also they have the funding, so they can invest in the research and development, and also they have also the big market. So they doesn't need to think about how when I have the product and then I need to go to another country to sell my product. They just need to sell the product in their own country and the nation, and then they will have the economic value on it because they can do that one. So in here you can see that the nation, the lesson learned is the nation that invest, that invest and then want to very focus on the technology and the research and development in the first place. They have the advantage now. So that will be very important, yeah. And the second is you can see also like I call this is advanced technology nation, but unfortunately with limited market, yeah. So I think you very familiar with these pictures, yeah, from the what do you call it? The girl band is I don't remember the name. I'm sorry, I'm not the K-pop fans here, but I think you already know about the Blackpink. Yeah, this is the Blackpink, and then also, if I'm not wrong, from the BTS, the K-pop. So I think you can see like the nation like from Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, they also have the advanced technology. They have capability to create the product from the technology itself. And then they also have the major market, but unfortunately the market has limited size. They only have a few of regions. They have only maybe 10, 30, 50 million people, but unfortunately it's not enough to observe that product. So that's why when you learn, my about 3 years ago, my research about the K-pop industries, I can found that when this is not only just a girl band or boy band, yeah, but I think this is the technology products. They package the K-pop industries is one whole package, and then when you can see they can penetrate to many countries in the world, and that accept how the culture into the product and technology. You can see, for example, like from the Korean television, Korean drama, for example, a Korean series on the television. You can see even the people in the movie, it will be used the technology on the from the Korean countries, for example. They use the smartphone, yeah, at least Samsung, and then they use the car using the Hyundai and so on. And then it will be one whole package. So when they deliver one of the product, actually they also have a lot of product that in one package here. So that's why the goal of the strategy of the business digitalization. And when it is accepted by one of the countries and the people in the country, what happened next? In their mind, in the people of the country, they will accept that within the product, and then it will be reference for them to choose the product for them in the future. So that's the cool things, yeah. So it is also you can see how the success of the technology and the product become one package, and then we can penetrate and then to go to the international market in a very smooth way. So I think we can learn from the K-pop and Korean culture products. Yeah, I think Taiwan is also same things. Japan is also same things. We also have another type of the country that now divided into several categories from the post-COVID-19. Yeah. So the next is advanced technology nation with small market. Yeah. Well, what I call it is I categorize like a country like Singapore. It's country with very advanced technology, but no market. I say no market because it's very small demographic area. But the nice one is what we can learn from here is they build a product and technology not for their own people, but they build and develop the product in the first place is to have think globally from day one. So that's the cool things. So I think so that's why in the Singapore, I think the product from the Singapore company is always the high quality, have acceptance, yeah, in around of the world, because they think globally in the day one of the production and the research itself, yeah. So that's why it's very important. And the next is we also have another type of the technology nation, yeah. So I think I categorize in the in the ASEAN countries, yeah. So this is the emerging technology nation with the limited market, I think, yeah. So this is the Thailand, Philippines, are quite similar to Indonesia, and Vietnam is also slightly behind Indonesia, while Malaysia is head of Indonesia in terms of technology and market maturity. But unfortunately, they still have some challenge here because the customer is not as big as Indonesian. In Indonesia itself, in our country, Indonesia is I call the emerging technology nation with fast market. Yeah, fast market it means like the volume and the speed of the market development of the market is very fast. Yeah, so that's why Indonesia is very unique as fast market. Yeah. So, but unfortunately, we not, we're still struggling to how we can become the advanced technology nation. We're still the emerging technology nation, I think. So it's one of the item that we can found if we have a technology-based product in Indonesia by our own people. For example, it is we have a challenge to introduce to our people. So the people will be more choose, for example, to another from another country's products. Yeah. So that's the realistics. But even that one, I think Indonesia is very unique because they have the fast market. So that's why I think we cannot ignore it, because it will be the good one. And then the nice one, because we are the fast market, we are the basis of customer is very big. So I think it will be have a significant a key to drive the product and business innovation. So I think if we can do this one, I think it will be very, very, very important here, because I think many manufacturers, many enterprise, the strategy to efficiency, and to the effective of the business process, how we can close to the market. So that will be very important things here. So from here, I think we can see that many landscape that now become we can define, which one is the advanced, which one is the emerging, and so on. And the next one is one of the weapons that I called before it, about how we can win and then we can make a good strategy, especially on the post-COVID-19 era. Even though we are the advanced technology nation, we are the emerging technology nation, but I think the most important thing is how we can manage the data, cloud, and analytics in one place. Why it's very important? Because big data have the significant roles to modeling the social system and designing social system, and also evaluating the social system. And when we gather all the data in one place, we have a 360-degree point of view and the perspective of the customer. For example, we can see what happened not only in one point of view, but in very different point of view. And in that time, we will have a comprehensive view and analytics to see the situation. From the COVID-19, I think many industry have the failness, because they have very difficulties to the COVID-19 is very unpredictable, and then we also understand that the COVID-19 may be like a very unstructured situation, and so on. Even the government giving some policies, sometimes the result is not like the policy one, and so on. So I think that's why, because the uncertainty in there, so I think the modeling system is very important to minimizing the risk that the uncertainty will be happen and more wild uncertainty. So that's one of the things. So I think that's why the data, the analytics will become the component that we need to manage for enterprise and also the community. Even though the big data itself consists of the high volume, high velocity, and high varied information, but the most important thing, the big data is information as assets. So I have some theory, but still on the on top of the papers, how if we say that the information as an asset? So it can be in the intangible asset in the accounting way, for example. But I think it's very important, because if we have the information, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, but we can analyze and then it's used to produce a model, and then the model is used for prediction in the future, that will be the valuable asset, I think. So that's the things how we try to introduce. Now I'm working in the working group in Indonesia to introduce and then to propose how the information can be accepted as asset in the enterprises. So that will be very important. And because we realize the information is asset, so that's mean we need to manage the asset in the cost-effective way. So we need to manage, to keep, and then to store, maybe for example, to ensure the long access of the asset in the futures in the cost-effective way. And we push into the innovative form of information processing. So that's why for delivering the information processing that effective and then innovative, we need technology. So that's why the big data happen in years. So that's why the big data is needed in years. For what? The big data and the data that we process into innovative processing, it can be resulting the enhanced insight. So the insight is like we not only just see the report, but when we see the report, we actively respond the report into the action. So that's the insight. So if you not only just read the report and then you realize in the report is establishing some information to you, and then you just let the paper into on top of your tables, it's not the insight. So that will be disaster. And the most important thing is the big data can give us the decision making to do that one. And then the process will be automation. Why automation? Because we have a lot of data. We have a lot of data sources that we need to manage in one time. Yeah? So that's why. So that's why we need this one. So what the benefit? Yeah, we can increase income using this one. Yeah, we can modeling the situation of the uncertainty on the post-COVID-19 into some models for the SME, and then we can choose which one is become more giving the increased income in more high level, for example. The effective education, something like this one. Last day, I asked by the assistant asked me, Pak Mardhani, what you want to do? Is you want to do the session on the online or maybe using the offline mode? Yeah. So I think the challenge in the online mode, yeah, because we need to keep all the audience is watch the screen, and then beside you see your maybe your mother screen, for example, and so on. So you can see that when I try to present this one, I never stop. Yeah, my body is like dancing because I try to attract you to get the insight. Yeah, something like that. And then that's mean of the effective education. Yeah. And then reduce congestion. I think you also understand about the transportation and the supply chains. In the supply chain, for example, I think the problem is always about time of delivery. And then the cities improve safety, and then the energy. Now we have, I think, based on the Ukraine and Russia war, I think we have the issue how we adjust the supply and demand that currently we very let our energy resources from them, yeah, for example. So we need to try to adjust this one, and also to reduce the damage and harm, especially when we deal with the climate change issue and so on. I think that will be very important. So that's why the modeling social system, designing social system, evaluating is very important. It is very interactive processes using the big data technology to delivering the solution. Yeah. So that's important on the data, cloud, and analytics. And the nice one from the big data, actually, wait a minute. Yeah, this one. So the principle of the big data actually can be shown by these pictures. Yeah. So the problem why we need the big data, because we realize that our data sources is still scattered. I think like all of you, I think all of you have your own data on your drive, on your own smartphone, on your tablet, and so on. And when we want to integrate all that information into meaningful information, we need to let into one integrated platform. So that will be the problems. Yeah. So you can adjust and you can implement this problem when we see in our government, for example, in the many government in this country. Currently, I have one of the partner in Myanmar, for example. They try also to establishing the e-governance platform. The problem is same with Indonesia. We have a data still scattered in many ministry, many department and so on. So the problem is the data is in their own ownership. There is no willingness to share and so on. And the problem, the next, is because the data is still scattered, the business decision is always without the thinking data in the first place. So that's the problem. The first place is how do we get the profit? Yeah, but the data, not based on the data. So that's the problem. So the big data and the cloud computing actually will deliver the possibility how we can merge all that obstacle into the challenge, into the potential challenge. Data still scattered, it means we have the opportunity to implement the big data. Business decision without data thinking in the first place, it will be challenged how we can deliver the insight, and then we can deliver the decision-making option, and do all the thing into the automation processes. If we can do that one, we can we can strengthening the strategy using the data standardization. We can use the regulation and security, of course, and then we can use many technology that now already produced by many people in the world, and we can customize into our needs. And in that time, we just need the analytics space, and then we will have the data integration and orchestration. And in that time, we can do some AI-based and data-driven policies. Yeah, in my personal perspective, data integration is very tough job. I think we already heard about the data integration concept maybe 10 years ago, but I think too good to be true. Yeah, so I think that's will be the challenge. So I think how if we not integrate in one place, but we do some orchestration. What my imagination is, the strategy is we can do like orchestra. All the people can take their own instrument, play with their roles, but we deliver the song into the direction of the conductors. So that's the clue one actually. So that's why until now I still campaign how if we change our strategy into data integration, into data orchestration. Yeah, data can still scatter, and then but the most important than the access to be have the sharing to can access to the data sources, and then we can do the analytic together. So that's important. So I think based on this slide, hopefully you can understand that the big data position is not to to bring a uniform on all of the data, but the most important thing in big data is like a data orchestration tools. Yeah, maybe in the orchestra it's like a party tool. Yeah, of the sound of the music and so on. Yeah, so that's the cool things. Yeah. And if we can do that one, we can save, yeah, not only from, I put in from the Deloitte analysis, for example, we not only just giving the data and knowledge management is not only just like, they have their own position, but we can see from the perspective of a traditional perspective, we can now using the social media, mobile, web, yeah, peer-to-peer marketplace, radio, television, and so on. And we can analyze from them. We can get the knowledge management from them. It's become of the big data, and then it will be the nice one. Yeah. So we not only, I think we will shifting. For example, if we want to know about the customer response or comment, we deliver a G form, Google form survey. No, I think we just need to watch the Twitter and then let's see what the tweet happened yeah, about the product. And then we can analyze from there. And then we have the social network analysis. We can see the product, our product is have the sentiment and the positive, neutral, or negative sentiment, for example. So that's the cool way, the cool one, yeah. So that's why the knowledge management will be very important. And then we move from the legacy system like the survey, CRM, sales online, and so on into more comprehensive data using the geospatial data. Yeah, so I think you also need upon the geospatial or geographic information system. That's very important on the customer segmentation. Yeah, I think based on my work, yeah, when I try to segmentation of the customer using the geospatial technology, we can provide that, for example, in the Gadjah region, in the North region, most of them is using motorcycle, for example, and so on. So we can, based on that information, we can decide which part of the region that we need to build, for example, motor service center, for example. So that will be very important, yeah, to have that one. And then we can use the customer relationship management using the social, social media. We can using the social listening, yeah. So we learn and we open our ear very wide on the social media, and then we can use from the device mobile usage, yeah. For example, voice of customer data, and then you can use the third party too. So I think we have a lot of opportunity, not only just giving the report from the data, but also from the knowledge management itself. And the most important thing is to do that one. Of course, we cannot just have a very simple strategy. So I think we need to have a very comprehensive strategy. So that's why the first is strategic alignment is very important. Yeah. So to have that one, you have the capability to require knowledge management initiative that contribute to the business strategy and goals. So that's very important. So that's why the domain knowledge expert on the business is very important to giving you the feedback about the strategic alignment. And then we need the leadership and governance. It's very important too, yeah, because it will be change, will be very big change on here. If you have the strong leadership, it will be very, very easy for us to deliver the innovation and so on. And this is very, very tough. People and culture. I think in many regions, many countries have the different type of the culture. So this will be it will be impact on the how we approach the users. Yeah. because it will become the people and culture will be a very big role in here. And then we need to have the process on organization, on the consistency and standardization, on the dissemination of the knowledge in the company. And then we need to also aware about the content and context here. For example, we need to understand first, it's true, now we are in the post-COVID-19 pandemic, or maybe we only just waiting another wave of COVID-19, for example. Yeah, so that will be a very different contents and context here. So it also will be giving impact on the technology. So it is like, what my perspective is like, you are running on the 100 meters fast race, something like that. But unfortunately, your finish line is also running very fast and more fast than you, something like that. So that will be very challenging. And the technology, it will be in the tooling, must be in place to facilitate the knowledge management process, to capturing, organizing, searching, and maintaining, disseminating the knowledge itself. Yeah, so that's why very important. So I think this six component will be very consideration to bring the digital transformation and business digitalization through the knowledge management. Yeah. And this is my my current summary on the digital landscape that now we face on the big data, on the post-COVID-19 era. Yeah. So I think now we face on the landscape of the technology-based channels. Yeah. So I think many services channels. Yeah, like fintech, digital governments, e-commerce, trade markets, cloud kitchens, vacation rentals. Yeah. Ride hailing and streaming content and so on using technology-based channel. I think when you speak about Netflix, you speak about the Spotify and so on. It will be it's only about the technology. Yeah, we're not talking about the radio channel anymore, but we talk about the technology channels. Yeah. And the nice one is personalized services. Even we have a lot of technology, digitalization, but in the end, not in the end. In the top of the technology, we have a personalized services. We will let the customer as a focus, like a people-centric principle in the previous slide. Yeah. So we need to personalize. Maybe what I want to give you an example, like Spotify or another stream channels, yeah, on the music, for example. They will bring the personalized services. If you are on the unmood condition, so I think the song track list will be changed, for example. And the next one is using the business digitalization, new way and new normal interaction and communication will become to us. Yeah. So we not interact people only just conversation one by one, but also we can do some conversation with the chatbot. Yeah. We can do some, handshaking using the metaverse platform and so on. But the most important thing, every technology, every platform that we use actually try to gather big and broad people in the digital platform. Yeah. So what do you think? The last Champions League between Real Madrid and Liverpool, I think in the stadium, they only have, for example, maybe 100 people in the stadium. But in the streaming, we have 10 million people in the same time access the streaming. And that's the business. If we can gather and collect the crowd people in the one digital platform, in that time we have the digital economic value. Yeah, so I think the digital have that perspective. Yeah, so that's why if we have this 5 principle or 5 component, we will have a digital economy. Yeah, digital economy will be there. So I think you're very blessing if you go into the economics area because you are in here. Yeah, you are in the digital economics. Yeah. So me, like my friend in computer science, we are the man behind the gun, yeah, delivering the tools, technology for you, and then you can monetize the digital things, yeah. So that's the cool things, yeah. What I learned, for example, during the COVID, for example, I placed one of my lectures into the Udemy platform. If in non-COVID area, maybe I only have a student, for example, in 50 or 60 students, but in that time I have 10,000 people that join that lectures, and so that's very very shocking for me. I can imagine how if I go into the offline class, how many in that time how I can manage the people. So that's the cool things. But if we can go to the economic side, we can be monetized, and then we have the digital economy. So the digital economy, it cannot be worked alone. Yeah. So we need to have digital strategies and regulation. We have to have the digital infrastructures. Yeah. We have the data, and don't forget digital skills. So I think the IWEEK program in this session, it will be very important for you, because you are not only just giving the lecture, the theoretical lecture, but also the insight, how the another perspective, and sharpening your skill into digital skill. So that's very important for you. It's not only just have the skill on the coding, for example, not like that one, but the mindset, the logical thinking, and how you solve the problem, it will be very important for you as a digital skills. Yeah. And so that's why to answer that question, you need to know about what is the 5G, what the cloud, what the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, big data analytics, virtual reality, cybersecurity, robotics, blockchain, and so on. I think that the word that not only mined by me as a computer science people, but also all of you, I think. Yeah. I think from the accountancy perspective, I think we cannot let the big data, we cannot ignore the blockchain. So I think that will be your conversation in the future. Yeah, so that the cool things. Yeah. And the key of the strategy on the digital business digitalization on the post-COVID is within the convergences. It's also one of the question, and also the obstacle now. Yeah, not only obstacle, actually the challenge. Yeah, because in the convergences, we try to combine all the potential technology that can help us to bring the smart industry. Maybe in the people in the city say that smart city, and maybe in the campus it will be smart campus, and so on. So that will be challenging for us. Yeah. So we need to combine all the technology element that we can bring from the previous slide, for example, like the big data, blockchain, cybersecurity, and then you can produce the smart industry. But still, we want all the convergences will be delivered the customer attraction. Yeah. So for example, if you want to register to the e-commerce platform, you doesn't need to fill in the form in detail. You just giving your email or your social media link, and then the platform will be gather your information from that and then bring to you, and then you need to just to verify, for example. That's why the customer attraction. And then you will have the value and delivery change on the business processes. Yeah. For example, integration and full pipeline from the e-commerce itself into the delivery channel until the assurance, for example. Yeah. And then flexible mobilization is also very important. Yeah. And then the quality controls. Yeah. The quality control is very important. So, and then the automation, and also all will be produce the information that will be the big asset in the futures. Yeah. So that will be important too. So this is what happened if we can do the convergences in the good way. Yeah. So this is my theory actually. Yeah. How if we can do all the thing, and then we can bring into one place, we will have the continuous industry transformation, not only just a digital transformation, but continuous industry transformation. What we mean about the industry transformation? We have the future of work. We have the immediacy. We have the abundance, new buying centers, efficiency, and also not the last but not the least is personalization. What we can have this one? Yeah, modern application. It will be very important. Mobile first, yeah, because all the people will be live in the pocket. My theory is going to be that. So it will be very important. Lightweight, yeah, and then purpose built, yeah, and then disposable apps and rapid deploy. So people will be develop the application and technology not in the period of month, but as now in the minute, for example. And but if we can do that one, if we have this one, business process automation. I think you already know about the business process management engineering, for example. So that will be very important because we try to engineer the business process into the automation way. So that's why we need the strategy driven. So how we compete with the e-commerce platform, for example, if we want to deliver from the SME, for example. So we need to do that one. And then we need to be the flexible and flexible, yeah, and decision enablers, yeah, giving the opportunity to the decision maker to see what happened next, what the insight, and so on. Do some cross-functional, yeah. I think now we in the zone of the shared services, not in the very specific services, in the very in the every department, but we can do some shared services, more metricable organization, and also the adaptive workflow. It will be very important too. So how we can change the situation outside the enterprise and then we adapt to the business processes without any boundaries. So that will be very challenging. So that's why we need to have the software-driven dynamic infrastructure, which is using the everything as models, XaaS, yeah, everything as services models, yeah. So every business models will be the services, secure, variable, of course, and then application aware, visibility, and also elastic scaling. So it will be, there is no problem when we have our 10 million user, 100 million user, and so on. So that will be very important. So that's why now we are in the third platform now. Every activity now in the mobility, on the social business, on the big data, and also in the cloud. So that will be very, very important for us. So I think all of you will be the future to drive in this way. So that's why I'm very happy to share with you with this issue to giving you opportunity to see in the future, and then where is your position and what your future direction is very important. Yeah. And the transformation strategies itself is cannot be like, instantly and then success. Yeah. But we need to have some step to do that one. So I think it's not like simsalabim and abracadabra some things, yeah, but it is very important to understand that the technology is not in the first place actually, but the most important is digital business strategy and cultures. Yeah, so this is to lead the digitization of services, we need to have a strategy and cultural in the right place. Yeah, so that's why it's very important. How to do that one? So I think all of you will have the unique situation. Yeah. So you need to involve all the stakeholders, see what happened outside the enterprises, and then you came with the some of unique strategy on this one. So I think the strategy cannot be copy paste from the one enterprise to another enterprises. It will be have a different and unique strategy in every enterprises. So that's why it will become like DNA for each of the enterprise or organization to do the digitalization. And if we have that one, we will have this one, staff and customer engagement. How we push, will be how we can push to involve the staff and customer to involve in the digitalization itself. And then after that, if they are engaged in here, they will have the innovation. And the innovation will came from all of the customer, all of the staff, and so on. Yeah, and the technology will be enabler of that. And then data analytics will be used for many things in the future, for prediction, insight, decision making, and other things. Yeah, so that will be a very unique. So this will be in the digital transformation formulas that we can use for establishing the digital business digitalization in post-COVID-19 era. Yeah. And this is my work now. Maybe this is maybe about two last slide. Now I'm working on how we modeling the business model, especially for startup and also for small medium enterprise to face the post COVID-19 era. Yeah. So this is what we do. So we collect about 57 startup and SME in Yogyakarta in Central Java. Now they not only work in their own problem, but we bring them into one discussion, and then we share our sources like industrial problem, community, and current issue into one of the FGG industrial meetup, and then we have some problem discovery phase. So in the problem discovery phase, every SME, every startup try to search and find what the problem that they can solve. And when they have that match, they do the scoping. It's focused on one problem. So you can imagine from the big problem, it will become a small idea, 1, 2, 3, 4 small idea to solve the problem in very specific problem. But if we go together, the big problem will be disappears. So that will be what happened. And in that time, after we have the idea development on the scoping stage, we go to the business development. How we deliver the problem into the business case, the business model. So this is the startup and the SMA works here, how they build their own business models. And then after that, they go to the incubation project. to deliver the tools, to develop the tools, how they run the business, using the digitals or maybe using the traditional way. It doesn't matter. And then we will have the products. After they success from this step, they will go to some of the incubation phase. Yeah, sorry. So they will meet up with the several industries to have the feedback. They have some expo to show up their idea, to validate the idea, and then they go to the startup dive to develop the product. And then maybe they will have found the new founders, the new investor, and so on. They will get them the talents, and then they will have the product. So the strategy we call the late going strategy. Yeah. So for digitalization, for SME, and also for startup in Yogyakarta and in Central Java. If they success from this step, they will go to the brand, to the brand pass, and then before they can sell, they will fund it and protect it the property, and then packaging, and then they will go to the launch to the market. So in here we can see how we can develop the ecosystem to develop some product into the digitization strategy for the SME and startup in the first place. So I think that's it for me. I think we actually it's not the end of my slide, but I think I need to stop now because we need to have the QA session. So thank you for listening my story, and this is more story, I think, not lecturing. Yeah, sorry. So, but I hope you can reach out my insight, and then we can discuss after this. Thank you, Bu Fitri. I'm giving back the time for you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Mardhani, for sharing and about your experience and also deep knowledge in business digitalization, digital transformation, and also startups. And as Pak Mardhani mentioned, he has also lots of experience in Gamma Box ID, which is in the following slides. And maybe if there are some questions about that, the participants can ask so that Dr. Mardhani can also explain about that area of his expertise. So it's the question and answer session. So I would like to invite the participants online and also on site to raise their hands and ask questions. Yeah, okay, so we have the first participant. It's Bramantio. Yes.
So yeah, thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the beautiful lecture. So I am kind of maybe intermediate in HTML. I can do some RStudio and Python. With the rapid digital transformation of businesses, what kind of job position would you recommend me to get into if I master these skills? And what additional language and tools would you recommend me to learn in order to be better at that position? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Bramantio. It's nice to have your question. So I think if you have that profile, I think you need to add some skill, to have the good position, especially. So what I think is try to learn about the product design. That would be a good one, because if you only have technical skills without any knowledge on the product design or development, it will be very difficult to develop some product or innovation, especially if you go to some of the technology company or something else. Yeah. So what I recommend is for you is try to learn about some of like product design courses and maybe materials, user experience or user journey material. It will be very important. And then after that, you think about the technical skill. So I think the HTML is good things, but maybe you can go to the HTML5 if you want to go to the next level of the HTML. And then now in the very for example in the startup technology, I think like Golang and also like Python, it will be essential, but Golang it will be very important for you. Yeah.
How do you write that, Golang? How do you write that?
Okay, I will write in the chat. Yeah. It's Go language actually. Yeah. It is like.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Mardhani and also Bramantio. The next is Azra.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I would like to ask few questions. Before that, I would like to appreciate Mr. Mardhani's presentation. The first question is about if you want to reach out such digital skills that are maybe not inside my major, for example, accounting, do you have any suggestions on the top number one or prioritize digital skill that everyone should master to survive in this rapid era? And how do we achieve that? Is it only by registering on skills class, get such certifications and others? And the second question is about if we apply all of the business technology that developed countries have in Indonesia in the next 5 years later, for example, does it guarantee Indonesia's economic and people development pretty similar to the developed countries? Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Azra, for the question. It's also a good question and very important question. The first is about I call it accounting skill. I think we need to take a look at the accountant or accountings majors. It's not only just like accounting today, but we need to see in the future of the accounting. So I think the accounting is not only just about some of the balance sheet and so on, but the most important, the heart of the accounting for me, it's my own experience because I'm my bachelor in the accounting. I'm very grateful to have the accounting major in that time. For what? Now I'm working on the big data analytics. Big data analytics, give me pressure to be very detailed on the data analytics, and accounting give me that. So what I want to share with you is you need to good on your accounting skill, but you need to open mind that your accounting skill is not only just to handle the financial things, but a lot of data. So, for example, what I'm doing now is working with the oil and gas data, which is very different. I never seen the data like this one. But the accounting skill give me some skill to do the detail. Yeah, you know the term of the devil is always in the details. Yeah, so that's a good one. So I think the accounting major is always deal with the devils. I think something like that. So that's the first. And so what I'm suggest you is you need to learn in the future about the data analytics skills. Very important. Yeah. Don't think about machine learning, AI, and nothing else. No, you're not working on that. But the most important thing, data analytics. Data analytics, like how you have capability to see the data, not on the one point of view, but different perspective of data. For example, if I say that the Bitcoin now is decreasing, what do you think? Maybe for your accounting major, oh, that's good. The Bitcoin is something ridiculous. Yeah, it's like fluctuative and so on. But if you see that one, it representing some economic condition behind that decreasing of Bitcoin, for example, and so on and so on. So that will be very important. So the accounting, the data analytics will be very important. Maybe in this current term is we call the data science skills. Yeah? So it's very important. Yeah. Hopefully, Fitri is lead the course in the accounting program. Yeah, and that will be very important. And to do that one, of course, to have the knowledge on the data science, you need to have two kind of knowledge, the major knowledge. The first is domain knowledge of the industry that you want to work with the data science. For example, if you want to work with the data science on the financial fraud, for example, you need to know about the theory of the financial fraud. So I think you need to take that materials, very important. So for me, if I want to work with the oil and gas company, so I need to learn about what is the seismic, what is the passive seismic, what is the well formation and so on, that I never learned before. So that's the consequences of the domain knowledge. And the second is how we can manage the skill to do some data processing skills. Yeah. In this time, I think all of you have the advantages that to do the data processing have a lot of tools. You can see the Tableau, Python base, and so on. So you need to learn about it. And to learn about it, you doesn't need to go to my class in computer science. Yeah. Go to the YouTube and then you have the tutorials. So that's the cool things now. So what I'm worried is about your major, but my worry now is in my major actually, because my student now more like to see the YouTube than go to my class, for example, if I'm not to show the more, yeah. So that's the cool one. And the second question about the Indonesia futures, I think I still have promise. I believe that Indonesia will become one of the advanced technology nation in 5 years, I think. because actually now the momentum is now. But unfortunately, sometimes Indonesia, in the Indonesia perspective, we have some, I don't know, maybe not good point. Yeah, when we have that point, that momentum, we have the political years now. So that's the disaster actually. So when we want to go to the next level of the advanced technology, not development country anymore, we focus now on the political things, something like that. So I think we can learn like from the Korea, from the Japan, from the China, for example. They're not very effortful on the political issue. They're very focused on the research and development, and you can see how the progress of this nation. So that will be our obstacles, yeah. But I think it will be not giving us very very low optimistic, yeah, for about that. Yeah. But I think we can optimize that with the new the young generation, like all of you, I think we can go to the next level. If the country not accept your innovation, just go abroad. I think like that's cool thing too. Yeah. Hopefully answer your question, Azra. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mardhani. And now we have Owen.
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity and the great story that you have. So as we all know, the government has a big role to play in regulating the digital ecosystem and helping business digitalize. Do you think that so far the Indonesian government has done enough to provide a safe and reliable digital ecosystem? And in the future, what should the government do to increase the rate of digitalization? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Alan, for the beautiful question. It's a good question. This is my subjective. I will answer into one perspective. The first is subjective perspective of my own. Yeah, I think the government is always late to respond to the digital development, especially on the regulation and etc. Yeah. So you can see when technology or something that already happened now, yeah, and in the very exponential growth, for example, the government will be take the rule on that point. So the government never cannot anticipate about the exponential growth. Yeah. For example, in the financial technology industry, what you can see in the financial technology industry. So when the financial technology is already established now, the government just think to implement the tax, to implement the rules, and so on. When the cryptocurrencies business growing up, and what happened next? The government came to and then take the rule on it. But when you see the other countries, they already do that one in 5 years ago, in 10 years ago, and so on. That's the problem. Yeah. So that's the rule. But we can realize that it can be happen because what I said before, it's like a 100-meter running. Yeah? So I think the technology will be run fast, but unfortunately the finish line is also running fast, more fast than us. So that's the problem. So that's why I think the government should be more aggressive here to, for example, to open mind about the technology landscape in the futures. For example, currently like in the healthcare, I just several hours ago I just present my idea to the health of minister to produce the telemedicine, not only just for consultation, but to operate, to do some operation to the patient in the another region using the robotic things. So what do you think about the response of the minister? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Yeah, how about the doctors and that's the issue. So you can see the response. Yeah. So what I say is, go back to the digital strategy. I think we cannot just ask the government do that one, but we need to educate. We need to always penetrate with the idea, proof of concept, do it with the startup first, and then go to the industries, giving some proving. And sometimes this is the clue, the good one of the Indonesian government. I think you need to know that. Sometimes if we not success to propose some idea to Indonesia, I go to the Malaysia or the Singapore first, and then success there, go back to Indonesia, and then the idea will be accepted. That's simple things. So what do you think about it? Yeah. So that's the cool thing. So, but I'm not talking about the nationality or something yet, but the most important thing, how we do some strategy, focus on the innovation and product, and then we can do anything, and then we can produce some things. Like my research product, like Gamma Box, now currently incubate in the NUS. National University of Singapore, not in the Gadjah Mada. Why? Yeah, because in there they can accept some innovation that may be beyond something like that. So that's simple. And then when it's implemented in there, yeah, the telemedicine can be accepted by minister, for example. Yeah. So that's the situation. But I think we need to push that one. And then as young men, yeah, I think you and me is only 10 and 11 years. Yeah. So I think we can bring that spirit, and then the spirit carries on. Yeah. Like Dream Theater say, yeah. So we need to spirit carry us on about innovation and product and full penetration to our government. Yeah, something that one, Owen. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mardhani and Owen, for the question. And next, we have Aumara.
Thank you for the opportunity and also the very inspiring lecture. My question is that sometimes when we want to innovate in terms of business digitalization, it is not impossible that the industry or even our resources, for example, our supply chain and our employees are not prepared. And thus it takes a lot of cost and like training or like socializing or introducing our products to the market or to other business partners. So my question is, should we limit our innovation into something that is acceptable in the market, or should we just innovate and like look forward and invest to it? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aumara, for the good question too. That's also what my obstacle now when I try to implement the new platform of the supply chain management. So I think my answer is that's the cost that we need to pay. I think, yeah. So why I my answer like that one, because I think we we need to learn about how the India and China do when they invest on the human resources powers. Yeah. So that's so you can see now how many CEO that now came from the Indians names that now exist in the global technology company in the world, for example. So that's the cool things. Yeah. So the problem that you say actually came from that policy. Yeah. So we're not very serious on the digital talents or human resources investment developments in that time. Yeah. We realize now, but unfortunately we realize when the people realize 10 years and 20 years ago. So you can see we need to go fast in that one. So the strategy to develop that one is not only just giving you some step-by-step module to learn, but you need to go to the exponential learn. Yeah. So this is, you cannot let your lecture to giving you your learning materials, but you need to actively find yourself, and then maybe you need to challenge your lecture. How if I have the newest module, for example, and so on. Yeah, so that will be challenging for you. So that's the illustration, I think, for the answer. And then for the supply chain and so on. Yeah, when you go to the very rural area, for example, it will be very very challenging. Yeah, I have one case when I developed some Internet of Things for early warning system for landslide in the rural area in Wonogiri, about 3 hours from Yogyakarta. What do you think about the problem that the first place that I have? Yeah, not about the communication, not about the data, but the problem is about the people. When I place my my IoT, what happened next? The IoT will be disappear in the next day. Yeah. Not the data, but the device will be disappears. So that's the cool thing. So that's why I need to giving the education, to need to learn, to show to them the benefit about maybe 1.5 month, and then after that my device will be secure, something like that. So that's the cost that we need to learn. But it doesn't matter. That's a challenge, I think, and then we can proceed to the next level. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yep. Thank you, Dr. Mardhani and Aumara. Now, Adisti.
Thank you for the opportunity and the very great presentation. So relating to the recent condition in Indonesia, it was announced that we are required to use a certain company's application to buy subsidized fuel and LPG gas. However, a lot of people oppose the idea since many think that the requirement to use the app complicates the process instead of increasing the efficiency. So my question is, how can digital transformation be done effectively without giving additional burden to the users, especially when the transformation is done at a very large scale and there's a lot of resistance to change? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Adisti. Actually, I want to mention about that case, yeah, but I'm very afraid Fitri will kick me from the Zoom because in the Faculty of Economics, we have the name of the company in the building, I think. It's still on the building name, I think, yeah. Yeah. So what happened in that one? So I think the lesson learned from that is, I think the policy is not seeing not using the digital strategy for implement that one. So it is like, like COVID-19, when the first time the citizen need to use the Peduli Lindungi application in the first time, yeah. So they push hard for that one, yeah, because the situation is order that condition, yeah. People need to be pressured to use that one, and then we can have the data because the situation is uncertainty. But unfortunately, that strategy is used for that issue. I think not only just that issue. Yeah. I think the CPO issue is also using some application too. So I think that's ridiculous. I think, yeah, we cannot use the same strategy to manage all the aspects. Yeah. So my criticism about that situation is actually, before we do that one, I think we need to put what I mentioned in the slide. Yeah, we need to think about the culture at first. Yeah. So we cannot imagine how we can do that one. I'm not disagree with the application, but how the application came to the people. We cannot giving the people using the smartphone everything, but maybe in the company, or maybe some parties do some collaboration. For example, we can use some using the self-service, self-service screen, for example, on the gas station, and then the people can register in there. For example, it will be more smooth, I think. So that important. And then what we see is there is no engagement from the policymaker into the customer. There is no education pass. There is no, the education is not like you go to the IWEEK program like this one, but we never seen the campaign on the television, on the TikTok itself. There is no something on the YouTube itself. There is no campaign at all, I think, yeah. So that's also it seems that it shows us that the government, or maybe the policymaker, not understand about the landscape of it. And then I just giving some social media survey last night, and then we just discussed, maybe in 2 or 3 days will be released. We found that the user and the consumption of the gas type that using the application actually from the young peoples. And what we want to say, if we want to reach the customer using your social media to campaign, to educate, and so on, I think it will be more smooth. So that's very important. So that's why, the next issue is about the technology itself. Sometimes the technology is like, in Indonesian word is dipaksakan, yeah, something that should be must have to implement, and so on. But there is no acceptance test first. There is no, some evaluation or quality assurance about the application. I think the user that giving the rating of the application in 1.3 or 1.4 is reflected. So we need to show that one. Yeah. So that's the cool things. Hopefully, I can produce this rapid study to the government and then giving some feedback to them, and hopefully it cannot be. It can be happen again like this one, yeah. So if like this one happen again, it will be like, must have policy. I think that would be very, very dangerous for us. Yeah. Thank you for the question.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mardhani, and we hope that your proposal is smooth. Yeah. And next, John.
Okay. On my side, I've got 2 questions. The first question, it's dealing on the consumer side, and the second question, it's dealing on business side. Let me first begin on the business side. That is maybe much easier said. You understand that in most developing countries, the challenge of most businesses, especially the small and micro enterprises, is the cost of digitalization and other such tools which are so crucial for the development of business. For instance, in order to develop a particular AI program or machine learning program that will be beneficial to our business, that can be beneficial to our business, it will cost a lot of more. It will cost millions in order for a business to implement such. Therefore, on behalf of small businesses, what can be done by maybe government and other partner agencies in order to lower the costs of tools like AI and machine learning, so that our small and micro businesses can be able to what do we call it? Can be able to benefit from them, so that they may be able to purchase and utilize these programs. That is question one. And question two, it's on the side of consumers. As you are aware, we are living in an era which there's an academic community calls it surveillance capitalism. And this is whereby businesses, they try to get as much data as possible about consumers, and at the same time, using that data, they will try to commoditize it, so that the businesses can be able to target a particular client with specific products. And therefore, on the side of consumers, it makes consumers to be so worried about their particular data and their particular privacy. So, as policymakers, that is both the government and partners, what can be done in order to reduce the impact of surveillance capitalism on us consumers. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question, John. Thank you very much. Yeah. So I think you have a deep question about it. Yeah. The first is about I can generalize as business model. So what we think about the business digitalization in the first place is not how we automate the business process, but we need to redesign or do some in the good term is like business process engineering to ensure that our business model is compliant with the technologies. So let's say if you go to the small medium enterprise, for example, if we go to the store, for example, when the people can do some deal, some price, yeah, to some of a commodity, for example, I think it's still not reflected or accommodated in the e-commerce platform now, for example. So we can found in the traditional market and so on. So that will be the problem. So what we want to see about it is how if we can comply with the current business model that is established in the market, and then we gather and then do some development of the model of the business model, and then we develop our own business model that's very unique, very easy, friendly to the user, and then it can be changed the landscape of the business. Yeah. So for example, currently I work with one of the e-commerce platform, try to facilitate the in Indonesian word is tawar menawar facilities. We deal with the price. So if I want to buy your commodity, for example, I can have 100 rupiah, for example. But after I can giving you some conversation, I can decrease my price and then I get the commodity, for example. So we not only just buy from in the price that stayed on the e-commerce platform, for example. So in other words, is what I want to say is the business model is very important. So even you are in the small medium enterprise, you are in the enterprise scale. Still, you need to define your business model that fit and compatible with the technology, especially on the post-COVID-19 era. And the second is related with that is, yes, I agree that most of the customer consumer now become the object to gather the data and information. Even you are not buying in the e-commerce platform, but your click when you select your product and so on, and your color of your hijab, for example, your color of your smartphone, it will be reference for the company to analyze your behavior, your want, what you think, what you will, and so on. And after that, it will be used for predict and then offer something for you in the futures. And of course, in the term of in the computer science, I teach one of the major. It's very good things. The philosophy of the computer science. So it is very philosophical way, not technical, but thinking about how we think about like the devil is in the detail, for example, the security things and so on. So I think it's also one of the issue. So I think when we discuss about the security data, especially personal data, the responsibility will be from the enterprise and platform. So they have the obligation to ensure that data that gathered from the customer is secure. I think we already know that several e-commerce already have the data breach issue, for example. So that will be the. I think in the Singapore, for example, if we have that case, the enterprise will be closed by the government. Yeah, but yeah, the enforcement and the law that implement are still behind. I think, especially in several countries. Yeah. Hopefully, it can answer your question, John. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mardhani, and also John for the question. Last one, we have Jovan, please.
Hello, sir. Thank you. If I may, I want to ask question maybe in terms of socio-economic, sir. So I think that an economic theory is kind of like the development of digital platforms. Sir. For example, like in the economic theory, there is like the proponent of a free market and then the proponent of the government regulation. And some of the thing like in the economic theory, it is explained that one of the two important factor in the production is the capital and the labor. So basically, we cannot deny that in our world that digital innovation will always be there. We always need digital innovation. But sometimes a digital innovation created some of a problem. For example, in the labor market, sometimes if the country is not ready and just put some capital in it, maybe it could cause some unemployment since the labor inside that country hasn't more prepared. For example, there are many people that are still not in the undergraduate level but still in high school the majority of the time. So for another case is, for example, I'm sorry, my question is basically, do you think that we should prioritize on the innovation first or a regulation first? For example, like TikTok, for example, TikTok in India is being banned, but at the same, it have advantage and disadvantage. The advantage is TikTok in India could create an economic creative industry, which will increase the economic activity in India. But at the same time, it could maybe create a moral issue maybe in the India. That is why. So my question is, do you a proponent of someone who think that innovation in the digital should be prioritized, but it doesn't matter the effect is negative or positive, but we should just like a free market. So we don't need a government regulation, but the government regulation should be done after that innovation happen. So that's my question, sir. Do you prioritize on innovation first, or we need to think a moral dilemma first? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Jovan. It's very tough question. The last question is very tough. Yeah, it is also the dilemma for us in the computer science. For example, when we want to implement the artificial intelligence for human assessment and so on. So what we want to do? The machine-based result or still human-based result, for example, like that one. We also do that one in the financial report, for example. If you want to classify the financial is clear, or we have a fraud in there, is using the expert analysis or using the machine learning things, yes, to detect that one. So I think my answer is, if I am from the technology side, I say that innovation is still number one. I think, yeah. But we have the limitation. innovation that change the business model, I think, not to change the morals peoples. That's the cool things, yeah. So I think that's important. So I think the business model is like how we can automate something that very manual. That's cool things. How we can do something that very fast, analyze the data in the very big volume of data in one time, for example. That's cool thing. So I think the innovation is should be number one. Yeah. But the innovation should be stopped when we face the moral things or a moral issue. For example, like I give you some example when I discussed with the Minister of Health about the teleoperation for the patient on the other side of the country using the robotics. So one of the doctor asked me, Pak Mardhani, how if the doctor or the AI cannot analyze about the disease that they need to treatment on the operation, for example. So my answer in that time, the AI should be declared that the AI cannot detect the disease. So it's mean we need to go back to the knowledge or the expert knowledge, which is doctors. So that's the rules here. So I think so in that point, I think the government should be there. Yeah. So the government should be facilitate how the innovation cannot go further if have potentially to do something disruptive, especially on the morality or maybe like a nuclear bomb, for example. I think nuclear bomb already all people will say it's good for the electricity, have the power plant and so on. But if become the bomb, I think we should say that the United Nations should be there, something like that. Yeah. Hopefully, it's answering your question, Jovan. Thank you.
It's really answer my question, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Mardhani and also Jovan. For the question and the discussion. So unfortunately, we have reached the end of the session. So due to the very interesting and interactive session, we are a bit over schedule, but I think it's not a problem for everybody. We wish we have a longer session to discuss and be able to hear all your stories, Dr. Mardhani. But yes, due to limitation of time. So thank you very much. On behalf of the IWEEK committee, we would like to thank you, Dr. Mardhani, for joining us today and also for the knowledge, very interesting that has been shared, and also for the fruitful discussion. And there are some key takeaways. I believe that according to the session, it is necessary for all of us to have emerging digital skills to support career in accounting, business, and economics, and that business digitalization is not just about IT and technology, but also about culture, people, and also business process. So once again, thank you very much, and let's give a big round of applause for Dr. Mardhani for a very interesting session. Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Mardhani and everyone, and see you all tomorrow morning for another session.
Thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you.